Hi everyone, I'm Jamilat, and in today's video we'll be drafting the basic gown pattern. Yes, so guys, if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do well to subscribe, like, comment and share my videos. Let's grow this community together. That we'll be needing for this class, for this basic gown pattern, is your bust measurement, as usual, your bust measurement, your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your shoulder to your bust point, shoulder to bust point. You will need your gown length, the gown length, and the shoulder measurement. So those are the basic measurements that you'll be needing for this for your basic gown pattern. And if there is any other measurement needed, I'll be letting you guys to know in the process of drafting the pattern. So what we are going to do is this. Now, how do we, as usual, how do we determine the amount of fabric or the amount of paper that we'll be needing for both our front and back? Now we have our measurements here already. So what we're going to do is this. The biggest measurement here, okay, the biggest measurement here will determine the amount of fabric or the amount of block that you'll be needing for this basic gown pattern. And now my bust measurement is 37, my waist measurement is 29, and my bust and my hip measurement, sorry, is 37 also. So now you can see that 37 is the biggest measurement there, so we'll be using 37 to determine the amount of block that will be needing for this gown. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to be dividing your 37 by 2. That is for both your front and back. So when you divide your 37 by 2, we'll have 18.5. Okay, so we are going to be ruling 18.5 to get the block for our front and back. So I'll be doing 18.5 here now. So you have 18.5. So I'll be ruling 18.5 all the way down. Ruled by 18.5 all the way down. That is for both our front and back block. Okay, so now what we are going to do next is I've already determined the length of my gown, and the length of my gown, working with the length of 39. So I've already marked my length from this margin line here. Okay, from this margin line here, so I went down by the 39 inches that I'll be needing the for the gown. That is 39 inches. Okay, so if your length is 40, 50, so depending on the length of the gown that you want, that is what you'll be imputing on your pattern paper. So now, after now, what you're going to do next is to divide this block into two. That is, you'll be needing a block for the front and that of the back. So you're going to be dividing this block into two. Now, how do you go about dividing the block into two? So what you're going to do is this. You're going to put your tape measure. Okay, you're going to keep your tape measure here. That is from this starting point line here, right? So you take your tape measure and measure what you have here. You have 18.5. That is the exact measurement for your hip. That's the biggest measurement. Okay, so you keep your tape here, 18.5, and you're going to be dividing it into two. That means you are dividing this block into two. You mark it down, then you mark it all the way down and roll a straight line. Let me do that now. So I've measured it already, so I've already divided the block again into two. So that is for our front and our back. Okay, so now you're going to be labeling it. Here will be my back, and here will be the front. Okay, so we'll be drafting in pattern making. You can be drafting both the front and back simultaneously. Okay, that is, we'll be drafting it at the same time. So what we are going to do next is to determine our neck measurement. Basically 3 by 3, but there is no like standard rule for neck measurement. And if you want to go about determining your neck width measurement, you can divide your bust by 12. That is your bust divided by 12. The answer will be for your neck width. Okay, so now, but for this gown, I'll be making use of 3 by 3 for my neck width and my neck depth. So what I'm going to do is this. I'll measure here 3 inches. Remember, this is our front, these are center front. 3 inches width and 3 inches for the neck depth. Okay, that is 3 by 3 inches. So I'm going to roll a straight line here. So you have 3 by 3 inches here. I hope you see what I'm doing. 3 by 3 inches here. Okay, now for the basic gown, we don't need any stylish neckline, so I will just draw a round neckline for this. Okay, so that is for the front. Now for the back we're going to be starting from the center, back. Your measurement should start from the center back. So for the back here, I'm going to also be taking 3 inches width and 1 inch depth. You can also do with half-inch depth for your neck depth. That is for the back, depending on what you want. So I'll be doing 1 inch neck depth. So I'm going to be connecting it with my roller this way, okay, to meet this 1 inch neck depth here. So I'm going to be connecting it. So that is the neck width and neck depth for both the front and back. Okay, so now let's move over to the next one. We'll be taking our shoulder measurement. Okay, now your shoulder, the shoulder I'm working with is 15 inches. So you'll be dividing your 15 by 2. So you're going to be taking your shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is shoulder of 15 inches. So you're going to be dividing your 15 by 2, which is 7.5 inches. So I'm going to be taking my 7.5 inches here. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for the front, 7.5 inches. So here is my 7.5 inches. So now, like we did in our basic bodies, our shoulder is not straight, it's slopey. So we're going to be effecting that on our pattern here. So I'll be going down by 1 inch for both the front and back. Going down by 1 inch for both the front and back. So here is what I did. So I'm going to be connecting the line. I'm going to be connecting this where this neck depth stop to this shoulder slope that I came down by 1 inch. So you can see me, watch me as I do that. So this is it here, and also do the same thing for the front. Okay, so this is what I just did here. So now the next thing that you do is to determine your armhole length. Okay, now there are different ways that you can use to determine the length of your armhole. That is, if you are not opportune to measure the round armhole of your client or of yourself. So how do you do that? You can divide your bust measurement, that is your bust measurement divided by 6. Then the answer you get plus 1.5. Some people use 2 inches, but I use 1.5. I'll be making use of my own original armhole length, because I measured my round armhole. So my round armhole here is 16 inches. Okay, so I'll be dividing 16 by 2 because your paper is on fold, that is for both your front and back. So my 16 inches now divided by 2 is 8. Okay, so your 8 should start from where this shoulder slope is, not from the original shoulder line here. Okay, so you're going to be starting from the shoulder slope, which is 8 inches. Okay, so now we want to have the same armhole length, or your chest line. It's also called the chest line, through for both the front and back. So what I'm going to do is this: I want to create an horizontal line here, this way, running through your front and back. So now for me to be able to create that horizontal line for my chest line, I'm going to go up, that is to this shoulder line here, this top line here. I'm going to go up and measure from that point, from this up to where the armhole length that I just took ends. So it ends at 9 inches. Okay, so I'm going to rule a line. I'm going to draw a line, or mark a line of 9 inches all the way down, all the way to the front. Okay, so that is what, let me do that now so that you see what I just did to get our armhole, a straight line for our armhole length, or our chest line. So I'll measure 9 inches here. So I'll be making a line. I hope you understand. Please, if you still don't understand what I just did, you can rewind the video, or you drop your question in the comment section. So you can see I've already is our chest line here. Here is our chest line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this: the same shoulder measurement that you took here, the same shoulder measurement that is from here to here is our shoulder line, right? So you're going to be imputing the same shoulder measurement on your chest line to get a straight line. So I'm going to be imputing the shoulder measurement here, which is 7.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be connecting this line to that of the shoulder line. Then you do the same thing for the front. It's supposed to be an imaginary line, but I just want you guys to understand it better. That is why I'm making use of this marker pen here. So 7.5 inches. So I'm going to be connecting it to this point, like so. Okay, so now our pattern is getting to shape. I hope you are getting what I'm doing. So what do we do next? You're going to be taking your tape. Okay, you you measure from the shoulder, because you know our armhole is not straight, it's kind of curvy, so we have to impute that on our pattern. So you're going to be measuring what you have at this where this shoulder slope starts to where your chest line ended. So you're going to be taking your tape and dividing it into two. Okay, so once you divide it into two, that division, that point where you divided it into two, that is the middle of that of the armhole, you're going to be going in by 0.5. That is for the back. Okay, 0.5 for the back, and for the front you can go up by 3 inches for the front. That is from your chest line here, from this chest line here, you go up by 3 inches. Okay, you can also go up by 2 inches. So once you go up by 3 inches, you're going to be on that same 3 inches point. Then you are going to be going in by 0.75 inches. I explain why this is so in our basic bodies half scale pattern. So now after now, you're going to be connecting from this shoulder tip here, you're going to be connecting it to where the 0.5 inch is for your back, okay. Then let me draw it well so that you see it. Okay, so now here you also do the same thing for your front. Okay, so now let's impute our bust measurement. So the bust measurement I'm working with is bust of 37. Okay, divided by 4 is going to be giving us 9.25. So I'm going to be imputing my 9.25 on my pattern this way. This is my 9.25. Remember, we use the same exact measurement, and my bust and my hip measurement is the same. Okay, so 9.25 here. But for your own, you can decide to add 2 inches when creating your own block, okay, so that you're not run short of anything. So you're going to be connecting. I hope you see what I'm doing. So you're going to be connecting this. So you can also use your free hand to connect it in case you don't have a ruler. You can also use your free hand to connect it. So you're going to be connecting it this way. Make sure that the points meet and connect it like so, and connect it like so. Then you do the same thing for the front. So you're going to be connecting it like so. I want to see the point where can actually go in. So you're going to be connecting it like so. So we've gotten the armhole for our front and our back. So the next thing we do is this. You know, our front length and our back length are not the same, based on the fact that we have the bust in front and the back, and there is no bust at the back. So the bust will tend to like push up the length of your dress. That makes the front longer than the back. So I already explained this in our basic bodies half scale pattern. You can head over to the video and watch out. So now my front length here is 17 inches, while my back length is 15 inches. That is 2 inches difference. So I'm going to be imputing that on the pattern here. So remember, this is our back length. So that is, remember, the front length is also the waist length. So don't get confused, please. So this is our back length, okay? This is our back length. So I'm going to take the back length measurement from here, which is 15 inches, okay? Which is 15 inches here. So I'll roll the line this way. Then the front length is 17 inches, okay? So 17 inches, that is 2 inches difference. Let me just I'll show what I did. 2 inches difference, 17 inches. So I'm going to be taking the 17 inches all the way. 17 inches. So I'm going to be connecting it like so. Okay, so we've gotten now, these are front length and these are back length. So what you're going to do is this. That is your front length and back length. That is your waistline. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to be imputing your waist measurement here on your front length and your back length. Don't worry, I'll show you guys how you can actually make the front and the back equal. So the waist I'm working with. Okay, now before we go over to the waistline, let's get our bust point line. So the bust point I'm working with is bust of 10.5. So I'll impute my 10.5 here. Now, why do we need the bust point on our basic gown pattern? Is based on the fact that the bust point will guide us on where your dart should terminate. So that is why you need your bust point on your basic bodice. Okay. So now this is our bust points here. These are our chest line, and these are front half length. So the waist you are working with is waist of 29, and 29 divided by 4 will give us 7.25. So the 7.25 here, I'll be adding 1 inch dart. You can add a dart of 1 inch, you can add a dart of 1.5, depending on there's no standard rule when it comes to adding that to your pattern. But for this class, for this in this video, I'm making use of 1 inch dart, depending on how big the person is. Okay, so the my waist is 29, which is 7.25. So 7.25 plus 1 inch for my dart is 8.25. So I'll be imputing my 8.25 here. Okay, 8.25. So I'll be connecting. Remember, we've not imputed our dart. We'll do that after drafting this. So 8.25 here. Okay, so now for your back, like we did in our basic bodice half scale, our back is not straight. Our back, there is this is not straight. And most times when you see zipper bulging out at your back, it's based on the fact that you didn't do your back tightening very well. So in this so we'll be removing half inch for your back tightening. Okay, you can do 0.75, you can also do 1 inch max for your back tightening. Know that the more you go in, the more it relax on your back. So now you're going to be connecting this back tightening that we just did here to your neck depth. Okay, so watch me do this. So I'm going to be connecting it this way. Okay, so once I'm done connecting, your this is where your waist measurement will begin. Okay, you're not starting your waist measurement from here. This one is just like a dart that we are going to be taking out. Okay, so this is where your waist measurement will start from. So the waist I'm working with is waist of 29. So that is 9.25. That is when you divide it by 4, 9.25. So 9.25 plus 1 inch will be making use of 1 inch dart also for the back. So plus 1 inch that will give us 8.25. So here is my 8.25 here. So I'm going to be connecting it here. Worry, you take your hip measurement. That is your hip line. That is from your waist to your hip. You're going to be taking it from your waist here. Okay. So most people is 9 inches, 8 to 9 inches, but in most cases you just have to measure the person from the true waistline to the hip line to get your accurate measurement. Okay, so from the waist now to the hip line is 9 inches, right? Now I'm going to be measuring the 9 inches for my back. That is from your waistline at the back. Then I will be connecting it like so. Okay, so I'll be connecting it this way. Sorry. So I'll be connecting it this way. Now for the front, you do the same thing also, which is 9 inches for the front. So I'll connect it this way, 9 inches. Then I'll mark. Okay, so this is what we have. Make sure it's 2. Okay, so this is what we have. So what we are going to do next is to impute our darts. Yes, remember we've not imputed our dart, to impute our dart. Now how do we go about that? You need your bust span measurement, and the bust span, that is your nipple to nipple measurement, and the nipple to nipple measurement that we are making use of here is 7 inches, and that 7 inches divided by 2 will give us 3.5. So we're going to be imputing our 3.5 here. Okay, that is the center front here. You have 3.5 inches. Okay, all the way down to your hip line, 3.5 inches. Then to your bust point, you have 3.5 inches. So we'll be connecting it all the way. I hope you see what I'm doing. We're going to be connecting it all the way. 3.5, connect it this way. Okay, but know that there are different methods of drafting. There is no one particular method of drafting. This method I'm showing you guys is one of the many methods that you can use to draft your basic gown pattern. And in case you guys want to see different methods of drafting this, you can also let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on that. Okay, so now the same thing you do for the front, you also do for the back. But for the back, your 3.5, remember we took out half inch here for our that for the back tightening. Okay, so your 3.5 plus this half inch here, because we want to start have a straight line here, plus this half inch here will give us 4 inches. So you'll be measuring 4 inches from the original center back line, not from this dark leg again. So you have 4 inches here, then to your chest line 4 inches, then to your hip line be measuring 4 inches. Okay, so we're going to be connecting it all the way. Sorry, I'm going to be connecting it all the way. Remember, if you are making yours, make use of pencil, so that you'll be able to clean in case there'll be any mistake in the process. So remember, we added 1 inch for our darts. Okay, so that 1 inch for the dart, and that is half inch on both dart leg. This is your dart leg. Okay, so we'll be removing half inch because we added 1 inch. If it is 1.5, that is 0.75 on both sides of your dart leg. Okay, so now for the back here, I'll be taking in half inch here, half inch here. So for the chest line, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch for your chest, for the chest line, coming down by 1 inch from the chest line. Okay, so now what you're going to do is this: you're going to be connecting it this way, just like the way we did in our basic bodies half scale pattern. I'm going to be doing it this way. And also for where your dart leg will stop, your darts shouldn't go into your hip line. So where you're supposed to stop is you go up by 2 inches from your hip line. Go up by 2 inches. That is where your dart leg will stop. So you're going to be connecting it like so. Then you do the same thing here as well. Okay, so now for your back tightening, you have to end it here. See the way it is here. So you're going to be going up also by 2 for your back tightening. That is where your back tightening will stop. So you're going to be connecting it this way. Okay, so that is that. And for the front, you are going to be doing the same thing also. Remember, we took out 1 inch. We added 1 inch for our dart, so we're going to be taking out half inch on both sides. So you're going to be half inch here, half inch here. So for your bust point, you don't want a sharp edge at the bust point, so your dart shouldn't go into your bust point. So you come down by 1 inch here. Okay, so you're going to be connecting it this way, the same way we did for the back. You connect it like so, and you also connect it like so. Then for connecting it this way. Then for this side, you can go up by 2 inches, can go up by 3 inches. That is where your dart will terminate. Then you're going to be connecting it this way, connect it this way. Our pattern is getting to shape. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do next is to take out my hip measurement, but remember that our block is the exact measurement of our hip. So we just connect the line from the waist to the hip line. That was what I just did for the front. Now for the back, you do the same thing. You measure out your hip measurement, and the block is the exact hip measurement. So you are going to be connecting the waist to the hip, just the same way we did for the front. I hope you guys understand what I just did. So guys, after connecting it, so what you're going to do next is to measure out your bust dart. Remember, our front length is 2 inches bigger than the back length. So from your bust point, you come down by 2 inches. Okay, that is your bust dart, so that with this we can be able to align the front and back together. So when you mark down your 2 inches, you are going to be connecting that point from that side to the bust point. Make sure that you connect to the bust point. Okay, so once you are done doing that, the next thing we all want to do is to if you want to make this gown a pencil gown, I reduced 1.5 inches from my hip measurement. So I came in by 1.5 because the block is the exact measurement of our hip. So I just came in by 1.5. That means if you're doing this, you can reduce 1.5 inches from your hip measurement, 2 inches, one, and depending on how fitted you want the nail line or the hem of your gown to look like. Now for the back, in order to give our gown a bomb illusion, I am going to share the 1.5 equally on both sides of our back. That is the center back, I'll be taking in 0.75, and the side back I'll also be taking in 0.75, so that our bomb will have a space to sit on. So that is the main essence of bomb illusion. I hope you get that. So I'm connecting the line just like the way we did in the front pattern. So guys, in case you still don't understand, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. Now for the back, remember the back is 2 inches shorter than the front. So at the hemline, you're going to be taking out the 2 inches and connect your line. That is what I'm doing at the moment, so that I'll be able to make it equal, the back and the front to be equal. That is just the essence of the bust dart technique. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to cut out the excesses. That is the part that we don't need on our paper. And when you get to your bust dart, what you're going to do is to fold it so that it will align. Okay, so that the size will be equal. We don't have, so that we don't have any shortage in the process of closing up our dart. So that is the main reason why you have to close it up, cut it out, then you reopen, because we're going to be transferring the bust dart to whichever location on our pattern. So now after doing this, what we are going to do now is I want to make a 2 dart series. That is, I want to have a armhole princess dart and a waist dart. So I'm going to be measuring out what I have on my armhole in order for us to impute our armhole that. Then I'll mark out the midpoint of my armhole there. So after marking out the midpoint of the arm, so I'm going to be connecting that point to the bust point there. But guys, make sure that you don't have any sharp points as you are doing this, and if there is any sharp point, try as much as possible to blend it. Okay, and you can also use your free hand to do that. So once you are done with that, I'm going to be cutting out the excesses again, so that we can successfully transfer our bust dart to our armhole. But you guys have to know that if you don't transfer your bust dart, definitely your front and your back is not going to align. So in order for us to be able to transfer the bust dart, you're going to be cutting out the position where you want your bust dart to go to, so that you'll be able to successfully close the bust dart. Because if you don't close it, you will not have a flat pattern. Okay, so now I'm closing up the bust dart. Now you can see that the size already aligned. We don't have any shortage at the end of the day. So you close up the bust that you can use a gum or a paper tape to do that. So our front pattern is ready, guys. The front pattern is ready. So this is how it is. So I'm going to be having a 2 dart series. That is the armhole dart and the waist dart. Now for the back, you're going to be cutting out that 2 inches difference that we have, because you know the front is 2 inches longer than the back. So you're going to be cutting out these 2 inches so that our front and back can align. Now if you want to have a vent after cutting it out, if you want to have a vent at your back, that is a slit at the back, so you're going to go up by 7 inches, depending on how open you want the back to be. Okay, so once you go in by 7 inches, what I'm going to do next is to measure out your vent. I'm using one here. You can also use 1.5 or 2 inches for your vent, depending on what you want. So I'm marking out my 1 inch here. Then I'm going to be connecting the line together so that we can get our vent for our gown. Guys, we're almost done with the class. The pattern is, in fact, the pattern is ready. So guys, if you enjoyed this class, do well to comment, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. So I've already connected my lines, so we already have our vent here. So that is that. We're almost done. So I'm cutting out the excesses just like the way I did in the front. So I'm cutting out the excess. I will show you guys how the whole thing looks like after cutting it out. So you can see now, guys, the front and back are matching up. Okay, the front and back is matching up. So that is that for our basic gown pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed this class. I hope you enjoyed this class. And remember, if there is any question, feel free to drop your question in the comment section, guys, in the comment section. So guys, we've come to the end of this particular video. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed till this time, do also like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's grow this community together. I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. Bye bye.